Hi, Career Safari community. It's Mindful Monday time with Coach Linda, and we're actually closing out our Managing Stress series. And we have two wonderful women that are joining us, Pertula and Nicole. So thank you for joining us. And we're trying something different today. Career Safari is all about celebrating and supporting different women in their journeys and their unique journeys. And we thought it would be great to have different voices come in and talk about their experience with Mindful Mondays in the Managing Stress series. And Coach Linda is actually going to walk us through an interesting exercise. I'm a little scared, but we're going to do this.
Relax, we're going to do this. We're going to do it mindfully.
Yeah, so Pertula, Nicole, welcome, and Coach Linda.
Yep,
let's work
welcome,
through this.
Thanks. Love the Mindful Mondays. Happy to be back here. And have just had a great time catching up with Wamete and meeting Pertula and Nicole for the first time, but hearing their experiences of how the Mindful Mondays have actually impacted and on their lives, and how they have incorporated the teachings from them, where they've got stuck and where they found it flowing. And it's been a great session just to hear from them, face to face, especially as to how they've experienced it. So we've had a lovely hour already, just catching up and going over the Mindful Mondays. And the one thing that has come out in this discussion is that we haven't yet got to action. So we want to feel about things, we want to think about things, and then we want to actually have this lovely response, which is going to serve us or serve the other person instead of a reaction. So there's a technique that I do that is called multiple brain integration technique. It's the most beautiful practice, and it is how we align our thinking with our feeling with our action centers. And the thinking is in the head, the feeling is in the heart, and the action is in the gut. And we actually had a little discussion about gut feelings and how these are our intuitions, and we don't listen to them. Why don't we listen to them? Because they're brain cells in our heads, as well as in our hearts, as well as in our brains. And that's been neuroscientifically proven through the work of Grant Sisula, who actually wrote together with his partner, wrote a book called Multiple Braining, Cool Stuff to Do with Your Brains. And it's a practice that I use, it's a technique that I use often in my coaching sessions. So you've all said that you're up for it, and I'm really pleased. So we're going to get into the mindful breathing positions, and we're going to do 3 minutes of mindful breathing. So we bring ourselves into that autonomic nervous system balance, where we're not all, running on high or trying to get our mojo on. And in the 3 minutes of breathing, when we've completed the 3 minutes of deep mindful breathing, okay, with the anchor being on the breath, I'm going to then talk you through the multiple brain integration technique. And then afterwards we can have a discussion about how it felt for you. So you've all identified a goal in your life or an area in your life that you're struggling with or that you might find challenging. And so you're going to focus that. Remember, we're setting our intention. So in the mindful breathing process, we are going to just mindfully breathe, bring ourselves into a quiet, still space, and then you're going to focus on the goal that you want to set for yourself, okay? And then I'm going to talk you through the multiple brain integration technique. And at the end of it, we're going to come out of that session and you're going to be able to actually express how that was for you, how that worked for you. Okay. Right. So I'll keep the timer on. So I'd like you to settle yourselves into a lovely relaxed pose. Ground yourself, feet on the ground, body relaxed. Okay. Eyes closed. And just start to breathe and do the breathing in. We're going to count into the count of 4. So nice deep breath in to the count of 4. Fill your lungs up right down to your diaphragm. And then exhaling to the count of 4 as well. How was that for you? Who'd like to share?
So for me, I felt a lot of benefit from giving the emotions in each of the areas a color specifically. That kind of helped me visualize this path of success when I'm approaching this. So that was something I've never done before, really. Even when we had practiced it earlier, I kind of thought about the color, but like I really like let that sort of take center stage for this.
Great.
And it felt really good. So
Okay. And when we worked through the cycles, went from the feeling, that real characterization of that emotion, to the thinking, the unpacking, and back down again. Did it change for you in any way as you were
definitely.
Now that you unpacked it?
Yeah.
And then when you went down to sorry, yes.
The colors were very distinctly different in each area.
Okay.
And it ended in a place that felt like very empowering. So
Oh, that's great to hear. So when you took it down to the action center, has your action become clear?
mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. So however you want to respond or the way that you want to act going forward is clear now?
It's more clear than it was when I was first thinking of the problem. I was thinking of it kind of like, oh, this is something I need to do. But when I thought about it in that way, I gave it a specific action that I'm going to do every day.
Okay. Well done, you. That's very powerful. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Pertula, would you like to share?
So I would agree. It felt empowering to me. And for me, going through this process has made it a little more concrete in terms of how I will handle the situation. So I, in that short period, with that short activity, came up with a plan. And so I went from being, looking at this emotion as being something that has conquered me, but now I can conquer it. And so I went in with an open mind and transferring it throughout the cycle that you did helped me let go of it. And I felt at the end, at first I go back to, okay, so I'm nervous now. I really have to put this in action. And then I started feeling excited that I'm going to really try this out. I'm going to have a response, a line, and I'm going to share compassion for the individual or individuals and myself. And I am going to disengage. And I'm going to try it out. That's not something that I have practiced and tried out. I've fallen back into the pattern of getting nowhere, going around in circles and getting worked up and getting emotional. And that doesn't serve me. So I know to release things that doesn't serve me, but I've not practiced how to do it in terms of a particular emotion. Other things have come easier, like I mentioned. I've put things in place. But even though I know that I need to not react the way and I need to respond or not respond, being able to actually come up with a plan was very helpful.
Okay, good. That's really good feedback. Thank you.
So I have just one question for you guys. As Coach Linda said, throughout these 4 weeks, we've had different pieces. So it started with like finding 3 minutes of stillness, the body scan, putting like real senses around your emotions, and now we just put it all together. So what part? I mean, we're all in different walks and different parts of this mindfulness journey. But what part of this practice do you want to carry forward, and how was your overall experience doing this mindfulness journey with us?
Mm-hmm. So I have learned that to get the benefits and the outcome, that it needs to be consistent and that we need to practice. For example, practicing yoga once a week is different from practicing every day. So with all of these activities, I think I would try to do them consistently, and maybe depending on what's going on, I may use one more regularly than the other. I think the breathing is a daily routine for me. I need breath, deep breath. in my life all the time.
Amazing. Good. Thank you.
Yeah, so that one will be there constantly. And the body scan, I think I would like to practice more. It's not something I've done consistently or regularly. So this is something I would like to incorporate in my practice.
Good. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nicole?
for me as well, I've been meditating daily for the last 3 weeks, I think. Maybe a slightly longer, which is the longest I've ever gone. So streak. Woo.
Good on you. Good on you.
Yeah. So I think that daily practice is really key, like you said, Pertula, because without that, you really can't move forward in it. And for me, the breathing, the breath work is incredibly grounding. It makes me connect instantly to my body. So I can't even do the body scan work until I've done the breath work. So I've been using that just much more consistently to kind of bring me back or bring me down. But the technique we did today, I'm definitely going to use again, especially if I feel stuck somewhere or I want to goal set something that's particularly difficult. I definitely want to tap into that again.
I'm really pleased to hear that. Thanks.
Will you share the instructions with us?
Yes. Yes, we certainly will. I'll give Wamite the website, and you can go and Google this multiple brain integration technique and doing great stuff with our brains because they are fabulous. Now we know we've got a brain in our head, heart, and our gut. So that makes us even more fabulous and capable of so much more. And we'll certainly share those details with you.
Yeah, it's actually on our website. So I'll put the link somewhere on here so that people can access it.
Yes.
So any last piece of advice, first from the us practitioners side, Pertula, Nicole, for women who are trying to do mindfulness during the pandemic and the craziness? Any advice you have for them?
I would say just go slow, take your time, be gentle with yourself. Again, going back to compassion and non-judgmental outlook of things. I, find what I like to do. So little things like I like washing dishes. So it's meditative and I incorporate mindfulness. So I study every movement that I'm making.
Fabulous.
So it's not difficult. So don't look at it as something that will stress you out. That's not the point. So start small. There are lots of great resources out there. Lots of great resources. So, everything Wamite has shared. I also want to just thank you all so much for this opportunity and for this experience. So,
great.
To you all. Thanks.
Very welcome.
Yes, similarly, I would say as well to take a mindfulness approach to your mindfulness practice. Just be super gentle about it. Don't make it something that is a pressure on you. One thing that worked for me when sitting down and trying to practice was to take the concept of mindfulness to other activities that I could just focus on. So like running or riding my bike. That put me in a place where I could just sit with it. And so if you kind of think of some of those activities where you can start to practice that, it might make it easier for you to integrate into a more dedicated practice. But yeah, just do a little bit at a time. I didn't think I'd be doing this every day at all. So just be patient with yourself. And thank you both for your help. I know these videos have helped me.
That's great. Really nice feedback. Thank you. I liked what you said as well, and I love the dishes, that you mindfully washing dishes. We need to start incorporating mindfulness in every single avenue in our life, everything that we are doing in our lives, because otherwise we're losing 47% of the time. We're not present in what we're doing. And when we start to do that, we start to actually find joy in the small things. When you're riding your bike, Nicole, you notice things. We become more mindful of, what is around us, what we're passing, trees that we never noticed were there before, sounds that we've never heard before. So incorporating all your 5 senses in every minute of every day of your day, of every hour of your day. And when we start to do that, we start to find joy in small things that we never thought we would, But it's only through mindful practice that we actually can get to those joy habits. And it's a daily practice, and it does take time, and you need to be gentle with yourself. Okay. Good.
So thank you, Nicole and Pertula, for being open to this. Coach Linda, I can't thank you enough for bringing your brilliance and your truth to this opportunity. And for those who are watching, this is not the end of Mindful Monday, but this is just the conclusion of the Managing Stress series. I'm going to put up a quiz on social media to see we have a few things in mind. So we're going to have the Torch community decide where we should go next with this. But it's not the end. It's just we're closing this Managing Stress series out. So we're still here with you. So thank you, ladies, and see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.